All right, let's discuss the developments in Zambia. We're joined by Dr. Neo Simutanyi, who is the board chairperson at the Center for Policy Dialogue in Lusaka. Good evening to you, sir, and thank you so much for your time. So the opposition had vowed to...
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, thank you.
The opposition had vowed to challenge the election result, but when we look at what has subsequently then happened, courts were closed, and from some reports there was an unusual police presence and courts could not be accessed, and this was a key deadline as far as lodging of the court challenge is concerned. The State House releasing a statement saying, and I quote, "This allegation is inconsistent with both the constitutional order and the available facts," and continues then to speak about the developments around Monday. So in your view, was the opposition blocked from filing this particular court challenge, or is the State House correct that there was nothing sinister here?
I have been in contact with people that were supposed to file the petition from the opposition, and they tell me that they tried to do so yesterday and they were unable to file because the court premises were sealed and no one would go close to the registry. No one was allowed to actually get into the perimeter of the Supreme Court and the High Court and that whole area, Constitutional Court. No one was allowed to go there. Yesterday they had the police and military presence. Today the military are there, but they're not very visible, they are behind. But it was still sealed today. Efforts yesterday to even reach the judges was difficult because judges' phones were switched off. But what I can confirm is that the opposition, NRUP, or the candidates representing, the lawyers representing Brandon Munduvile, attempted to file yesterday and today, and they were unable to do so. So the issue now is this, that the Constitution allows a losing candidate to petition the results of the election if they are aggrieved within 7 days. 7 days elapsed yesterday, and yesterday the courts were closed and they were unable to file. The alternative was to file electronically, as the previous speaker said, and they were unable to do so because even the electronic platform through which they should have done that was also not accessible because the messages were bouncing back.
Yeah.
So that's the issue, that they were not even able to do that electronically. So by yesterday, they had not been able to do that. By today, they weren't able to do that. But then there's a statement, which I don't know whether you've seen it. The Secretary Cabinet has announced this afternoon that the inauguration will take place on Monday. And it will take place against a background where the opposition has been unable to file because the courts were closed. And so when that is the case, it becomes difficult.
And it also, the statement, part of what the statement also says, it says that the measures taken on Monday, and I'm quoting, were not directed at the judiciary alone. As the Inspector General of Police has publicly confirmed, security risk assessments were being carried out at selected key government premises across the country, including institutions under the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security, etc., and saying that these operations were intelligence-led and preventative, aimed at safeguarding government institutions, etc., and public offices, as well as, a precautionary measure applied across several arms and departments of government. The timing of it, though, there's a lot to be said about that, right?
Yeah. Yes, the issue here is this, that there was no problem with closing the perimeter of the judiciary, but the judiciary is supposed to be accessible, even if not physically, because they can provide alternative avenues, such as allowing people, these who are supposed to file agent application, like but yesterday was the deadline for the petition. if these people are not filing, don't file. If there are no intention of filing yesterday, then of course there will be no problem. Because the security issue is important, but the constitutional deadline was also supposed to be adhered to. Now, the judiciary has not issued a statement that up to this date, up to now, judiciary, all that we know is that the Chief Justice did receive a petition from a consortium of civil society led by Linda Kasonde. They did receive a petition yesterday and acknowledged the receipt of this petition, which was sent to the Constitutional Court. So, and the reading of the acknowledgement is that it was received and forwarded to the Constitutional Court, and it was up to the Constitutional Court to decide what to do next. But from what we heard this afternoon, that the Secretary of Cabinet has said the opposition did not meet the deadline. It means that the Constitutional Court has declined to actually entertain that particular petition.
So does it mean, if I'm hearing you correctly, are you saying that the opposition was prevented from doing this? I know you've explained, the scenario that played out. So
yes, they were prevented from filing. They are blocked starting from yesterday. Now, and they continue to attempt to do so yet today, and they were still blocked because they say that they can't even access the judges. They can't manage to even talk to judges. They can't get in touch with the administrators of the judiciary.
What does
and
this mean?
And there's no explanation for judiciary. What should happen?
Pardon me.
No, what this means is that the rights, what this means that the rights of the agreed party, in this case the opposition, to petition the results, which is provided for in the Constitution, has not been honored, because the Constitution provides that anyone who loses an election should have recourse to the courts, because if that is not done, then you invite unlawful means to protest.
So what does this mean for the credibility?
Why this is the provision.
What does this mean for the credibility of this election, especially because we've seen, I remember at some point counting had to be postponed when we were told that there was violence, etc. And those particular concerns, of course, mounted at the time, speaking about the credibility of the election. And here we are now. What do all of these developments then mean for the credibility of the election and also the Electoral Commission in that country?
No, this means that the credibility of the election is in doubt, because if the elections were properly conducted, there was no need for the government that seems to have won a very large margin. This is a landslide as far as things are. There's no reason why they should fear to have the petition. If they've won fair and square, they should allow a petition so that the claims by the opposition can be dismissed by the courts. This allows for closure. It allows for reduction of political temperature in the country. It allows for acceptance of results by the losing party. It allows also for reducing the tension that is in the country at the moment between those who won the election and those who lost. That's the whole reason why there's a provision in the Constitution that those who lose should actually resort to the courts, so that there are lawful means of resolving the conflict.
So before I let you go briefly then, what about the handling of this election by the Electoral Commission in that country? What do you have to say about that? All right, I think we've lost Dr. Simutanyi there, who has been speaking to us about the elections in Zambia. And we do get the gist, though, of where he's going here as far as the story is concerned. Dr. Neo Simutanyi, the board chairperson at the Center for Policy Dialogue in Lusaka in Zambia. Quite a lot of concern, especially when you think about the deadline as far as the filing of that particular challenge to the election is concerned. And now we're seeing a statement by the State House saying that the inauguration continues in earnest. So you can only imagine the reaction to this particular development. So we'll continue then to keep you, just abreast on this developing story.